All right, welcome to Awaken Your Spirit. My name is Bridget Harrington. Today I have asked one of my really good friends, dear to my heart. She's more like a sister to me, Caeli Tucker, on just to really just get to know you, Caeli, and find out a little bit more about where you come from and your breakthrough, how you've overcome addiction and trauma and your past, and you've created a new life for yourself. So, you just want to introduce yourself? Go ahead.
Hi, thank you for having me, Bridget. My name's Caeli Tucker. Just a little bit of background about me. I am a recovering drug addict alcoholic. On December 1st, I will have 7 years sober and clean. And honestly, like my spiritual journey started with that. I went through the program of Alcoholics Anonymous, and at the end result was a spiritual awakening for me. And through helping others, like I continued on that spiritual journey. And then there was, a brief period of time where I was just stagnant in my spiritual life. And honestly, it happened more so when we were on quarantine. I got introduced to Young Living essential oils, and honestly, just like an array of spiritual, like tips and tricks and things I wasn't practicing in my daily life that I had nothing but time to try new things. So I
Mm-hmm.
was just, I got into crystals and oils and oracle cards, and it just opened up this vast like array of like spirituality that had never even like dreamed about or like thought about, or probably would never have thought about because I was so matrix in everyday life and work, kid, school, like, just the daily like blah like reality, and I didn't really ever like disarray from that, if that makes sense.
Mm.
Like I just kind of was in a straight, this is what we do every day, you don't stray from it. And then, quarantine came and I had just nothing, no work. I was a stay-at-home mom. I had just like, I was
Mm-hmm.
reaching a point of like where I needed something, and I had to find that in, my spiritual life again. So it was
Right.
beautiful.
Yeah. What can you tell us a little bit about what it was like for you before you got sober? Like how was your life then? What was your daily life
Oh
like?
my gosh, my life was chaos. I got into prescription drugs and alcohol at a very young age. So honestly, from like the age of like 13 till probably I think my first time trying to get sober, I was 22. So almost, 10 years of just drinking and drugs and chaos. And like I had no spiritual life. Like I had nothing. I thought that like I was just this like mistake on earth that was like meant to be here to suffer and like die this life. And I didn't know honestly any way out of that. Like I literally thought that like I was being punished for something because I grew up in like a religion that basically taught you that like we had a punishing God, and if you sin you get punished. And that's just really like I was like, I'm sinning, I'm getting punished, and I'm going right to hell, and like this is my life. Like I didn't know anything other than what was going on.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that's funny.
It
I
was
had
it
this.
was tragic.
Yeah, yeah, I grew up that way too. Isn't it funny how? Yeah, I don't see it that way anymore. I was in fear my whole life, and definitely thought because I was a bad kid or a bad child, a bad teen, a bad young adult, that I was going to someplace not so good because of our mistakes and our sins. Oh, what a horrible way to live. My story. We both know each other's stories. It's crazy where we were at and where we're no longer at, right? And like a lot of people don't get there, and I think that's why I wanted you to come on and tell your story of where it was, where your life was, where you were at, and where you're at now, because there is a way out of that misery. There is a way out of that low vibration of
There
living.
is.
And once you get out and you find a real solution, and you can create your own life. And that's exactly where we're both at, right? Like we both come
Right. Right. And anybody that knew me then and knew you then, like look at now and they're just like, who are these people? Like I'm just like totally like a changed person, like inside and out. And I think like the real work was on the inside, and it was that like spiritual solution that like I always lacked, you know, like you can put drugs and alcohol down and you're still like missing something. There's a missing piece, you know, until you find that like spiritual solution or work through your traumas, because that's what a lot of these experiences that we have when we're in that sick state of mind, like you experience a lot of trauma, even through like my childhood, like things I didn't think at the time were traumatic, they lay as trauma inside the body. And I've learned that like throughout the years that like stored emotions, like they like emotions store as traumas in your body and different organs even, you know. So like illnesses happen because of these emotions that we don't want to work through or don't know to work through. You know, a lot of people just don't know. I didn't know. And it wasn't until I got like connected with certain people through life and through spirit, I'm sure, you know, that like I've learned these things in my life. And it's just like a crazy like ride ever since I kind of opened my eyes, just like how many like as I've raised my vibration and my frequency, like who I'm drawn to. And it's a totally different, like it's all everybody that's on the same path as me. You know, we're all working towards the same like end goal, you know, and trying to help each other and help others through this stuff that nobody really knows about because we're not really like taught about certain things,
No.
you know?
No, exactly. And I feel like as mothers now, we're in that transition of like, okay, these things are important to teach our kids because these are things that we just kind of went unconscious about our whole lives. And who would have known that, you know, our biggest problem in life is that we can't handle our emotions. And that is why we reach for something to numb the pain or numb that emotion because we don't know what to do with it because our whole lives we were taught, you know, put it away, shut up, be
Just deal
quiet,
with
keep
it.
going,
Just deal with it and
you
keep
know?
going.
Right.
Like we
There was
were
no expression.
right, especially like me and you have similar, like we're raised by single mothers and we are single mothers. So like strong women, right? Strong women, I use quotes because not saying they're not strong, but like strong to them, their conditioning tells them that like we don't talk about what's going on. We just handle it and you know, we move forward and we thrive forward. My mother is a very strong woman, your mother is a strong woman. I'm not saying they are not. I'm just saying that like that's what we are told is strong. Is to like suck it up and put on a brave face and continue walking through life and not deal with it. Like I've had to deal with a lot of stuff from my childhood because I did that, you know, like that's not always the healthiest way to go about things is not talk about it. You know, and quite honestly, like our generation, because of the conditioning that we went through, they're like dropping like flies. It's like a really, really sad thing to experience at this moment in time is that like I've buried like more young people than I have elderly people in my life.
Right.
And stuff that could have possibly been, you know, avoided if we have just like reach out to one another or like learn to open up about our feelings and like told that like sharing what's going on in your life isn't considered weak because nobody wants to be considered weak, you know? And a lot of people think like talking about our shit is a sign of weakness and it's not.
It's actually, we've learned a sign of strength and
Right.
vulnerability is one of the hardest things, one of the hardest principles that I had to learn in order to get where I'm at today. You too, also getting vulnerable about where I'm at, what I'm feeling, what's really going on in my head. That's not an easy thing to do. It's actually a huge sign of strength, and it's a huge sign of I want to move forward with my life and I want to get better because a lot of people, well, my life, I mean, the way I lived my whole life was, you know, be quiet. I couldn't speak up, right? I
Right.
couldn't tell anyone how I was really feeling or what's in my head because number one, I thought nobody understands, no one can understand my brain, no one understands what I'm going through, right? Like I'm the only one in the world who has this thinking and these problems. That's really what I thought. And then secondly, I don't want you to use that against me, whatever I share with you, right? And that's how I lived, and that's what kept me sick, and that's what kept me stuck, and that's what kept me using and drinking and whatever I could to fill the void and shut up and turn all the stuff that was going on in my head. And that's why I wanted you to come on here and talk about it with me because there's so many things going on that's sad. And I was talking to one of my friends And I was telling him how grateful I am that we have like a network of women that we can share these things with, that we can get vulnerable with, and we can explain what's going on and just talk it out, and that we have that connection with other people, because we're seeing in our day-to-day life that a lot of people don't have that, and that's what we're missing, like that spiritual link, right, with each other, with God, with a higher power, with whatever you want to call it. But we have found that, and we didn't find it without help, right? It's We needed help, and we had to reach out for it, and I'm just so fucking grateful that I did, and I'm so grateful that you did and that you helped me. And the one thing I wanted to say was, you were talking about raising your frequency and raising your vibration, and that might sound like foreign to some people, or they might not know what we're talking about, or they might. But in the program that we got sober in, teaches us that once you clear the wreckage of your past,
Mm-hmm.
and you're willing to face yourself and look at yourself, you are now being rocketed into the fourth dimension, the fourth density, a higher frequency, where you are no longer a victim to having to use drugs, like
Right.
needing to use drugs or alcohol. Like, you're removed from it. And I can tell you, that's the truth. That's an honest statement that happened in my life, your life, and so many others around the world, that I can walk into a room where people are drinking, or I can go into a bar where people are drinking, or they're smoking, or whatever, and it doesn't bother me.
The
It doesn't.
desire is removed.
It's removed.
It's gone.
So we've raised our frequency. That in
It's very
terms can
yeah.
be, yeah, we're talking about the same thing,
Yeah.
and now we're just on another level of it, and we're trying to keep going and rise higher and vibrate faster and attract better things. I mean, if we can attract getting sober and staying sober into our lives, imagine what else is possible, right? Anything.
Right. Right. And like, even today, like, it's not perfect, like life is never perfect. Some people think like, oh, sobriety, life must be so grand now, because I talked about how much of a shit show it was, which honestly, I can look at my life today and any bad day doesn't compare to a bad day at that point. Like, it's
Exactly. In comparison. Right.
right. Like, so like a bad day now, I have to learn how to like turn it around. Like, I have to learn, like, when I'm feeling low vibrational, I have to learn, okay, someone told me once the fastest way to raise your frequency or your vibration is to turn to gratitude. So
Absolutely.
whenever I'm stuck in a sick like headspace, I just try to think of like 5 things off my head quick that I'm grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
And usually that like helps me. And like, it's a back and forth and it's a battle sometimes, because life is just not sunshine and rainbows all the time. And you have to just learn how to deal with it and like stay vibing high. Like, you have to stay above it, because once you get stuck in that low vibration, like everything else around you, like, you can attract positive by having a positive vibration. You can attract negative by having a negative vibration. And it seems like you're just like, it's never ending. So you have to just learn how to like stop yourself in your tracks and like just turn to gratitude is what I always do. If you use essential oils, that's another way to raise your vibration. Crystals, like nature, there's a bunch of different ways, but like I immediately turn to gratitude because that's the fastest for me in my like line of work, because I'm usually driving. I can't like get out and take my shoes off and ground. I have to like think of other ways to do it. So oils and gratitude are like my go-to.
Same here. That's literally why I love the oils. Oils have like a certain
Mm-hmm.
frequency, obviously, that help you. And also, just because we're sober now and we're living better lives doesn't mean that what happened to us didn't happen. We still have these parts of ourselves that live within me,
Right.
of addiction and trauma. Those things are still a part of me, but they're not who I am now. And so those things do come up. But now we have, tools, and like, the oils. I fell in love. I was going to ask you. So, that was like another leveling up in your perspective of like getting.
100%. That literally was like a big, like, that opened my eyes to so many other things like that I'd probably never. And you honestly were the one. I used to call Bridget crazy. I said, who needs these oils? I have these fake oils from Amazon. But really, like, I was like, all right, you know what? I finally gave in, because I was very hard-headed at first. Like, I honestly didn't think I needed anything else in my life. Like, I thought my life was grand at that time, and I was very sick. Like, in the head, I was not okay at that moment in time. And honestly, that probably saved my life once again, because I was just stuck in a really negative mental headspace. Like, there was no fixing it at that point until I realized like there was another way. And that was another spiritual way for me.
Right. And the same with me. Like, we're stubborn, right? We're stubborn. We don't want to admit that something else can help us. And also, we're conditioned to believe that, like, most of the things, people just want to make money. People don't want to help. This stuff doesn't work, right? Those are like the initial thoughts that human consciousness has. But then there's the other side. It's like, maybe it will work. Maybe it does help. Maybe these people aren't full of shit and just making shit up, right? But so, yeah, there's a part of me that thinks those thoughts, and then there's another me that surrenders to it and says, let me try it. And that's where we're at with ASEA.
Right.
ASEA, wow. I was the same way with ASEA. I had the same resistant thoughts, same thing, and I tried it, and it's blown my mind away of like how much this stuff helps. And also blows my mind that how much people don't know about it, right? Like, people just don't know about it. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to like share as much as I can about it, tell people, let them know it's there, because it's really, really helped me. And I feel like my consciousness is raised another level, that I'm more aware. My third eye has been cleared out more, I'm more in the present moment. I have more energy, and I know you're experiencing some of that too. Tell us about it.
Listen, I was the same. Like, I'm just the type of person that if you tell me that like something's going to like help me heal, help me spiritually, or help me just in general feel better, because like I'm extremely like low energy, like physical energy sometimes. So like you tell me I'm going to feel better, I'm going to have more energy, I'm going to like have more focus, I'm down. I don't care what it is. Like, I'm down to try it. When you said it, like, I remember maybe like 3 months ago, you told me, okay, you got to try it. And I was like, all right, I'll buy some. And I never got around to it. Told me again, you got to try it. I'm like, yeah, I'm down. I just got to like, we got to get around to it. And then finally we got on the phone with Jay and we got me set up to order it. And I'm not kidding you. Like, the first week I was feeling results, like the first week. And it went unnoticed for a minute until you asked me how I was feeling. And then I was like, wow, I haven't taken a nap at all. Like, physical energy, which I was not even expecting. You told me at an energetic level, meaning like internal energy. I was like, okay, cool. I need the physical energy though, but I'll try that too.
Yeah.
But like, really, like, I get up at 3:30 in the morning every day for work. I work like 12, 11 hours a day and a lot of driving. So it's just like mentally and like physically draining on me. I normally come home, take a nap. I probably since then, I mean, maybe being snowed in these last 4 days, I've taken a nap, but like since I've started in my work days, I've felt and just like had this like amazing like clarity, physical energy. Like, I don't feel drained anymore. I don't feel it. And like my skin, I use the Redox gel on my skin. Like, honestly, like I didn't see a difference in that rate at first, obviously, but like I want instant results for everything. But like now I'm like looking and I'm noticing I had this weird bruise on my leg for like 3-4 weeks. Then it turned into like a white patch, and then I'm like in my head, I'm like, oh my God, this is something horrible. I'm gonna die. I was like researching all this crazy shit. So finally I'm like, I'm gonna put the Redox gel on it. It was gone in like 3 days. Like, it was like a bruise that turned all these different colors, then turned like into like a scar, and now it's gone. I don't know what it was, but it's gone now. So it's just so crazy. My boyfriend has like had like a blister on it. He's very like fair skinned and works a lot in the sun, and he had like a blister on his ear for 2 years that I've known him. Well, we've been putting the Redox gel on it, and his ears are like smooth and clear now.
Right. Same with me. I mean, that's the Redox gel is what sold me on it. It's like a topical gel, and that healed my hand.
Oh, that hand
that I had. Nasty, right? For like ever. And after the gel worked on me, I was like, all right, let me try this blue stuff, the blue bottle. Let me try this liquid stuff. My dad had been trying to get me on it. I'm gonna have him come on and talk about it too, because he's the one who got me on it. But since then, like, I feel like immediately you start feeling some benefits, and because it's instant, right? Because it instantly starts to wake up all the cells within your body. And but then over time you have these periods of like what do you call them, marks that you get in this experience. And it's really an experience. And that's how it was like shown to me and through my dad, like he's having this experience, and that's what I'm having too. I mean, all three, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, all four ways I feel better, and
It's like one now instead of like four separate, five separate, like physical
yeah,
body, mind, spirit. You feel connected. Like it feels like it's like a all like a one motion. Mind, body, spirit is one now.
exactly. That's exactly the feeling. And like I was talking to Jay about it, the cool thing about it was when I was having my experience, then I started to learn more. I want to learn more about this because I decided I wanted to help spread the word about it. And then I started listening to testimonials about it, and they were experiencing the same thing. The things that I was describing my experience with, they also, other people around the world, just random testimonies were saying the same thing. And that was really cool. And that was validation that this is right for me. I'm on the right path. I'm doing the right thing. This is what I had to do. And these are the things I have to do in order to reach this next level in my life, is get vulnerable once again, put myself out there, do things that make me super, super uncomfortable, and get
Mhm.
comfortable with the uncomfortable, or else I'm never going to grow. Right. This is
Right.
where I'm at. So ASEA has helped me get there, and I'm so grateful for it. I want everyone to try it. So
I know, me too. I'm telling everybody, I'm making everybody drink it. Like, try this, try this. I want my dad to try it. I'm like, everybody, like, I'll shout it from the rooftops. Some people think you're crazy, but it's like you have to get over that of like, well, it's helping me. Maybe you should try it.
right. Yeah. Why not? You can't, it's
Right.
no risk. It's no risk at all. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so glad you're just doing so good. I'm so proud of you, dude.
I'm proud of
And
you.
I hope anyone who hears this and is listening, or that will hear it in the future or whatever, can take something from this. And if you're in a spot of you don't think you can get out, you don't think you can change, you don't think things will ever change, me and this girl right here come from somewhere that we did the impossible, along with a lot of other people that we know, and we all followed the same path and the same program, because it's reprogramming your brain, which is what needs to be reprogrammed. You can change. Things can change, and that's why I'm at this place where I still believe, like, I believe anything's possible. The things that I believe are insane,
Right.
people think they're
Same.
crazy, but like my mind has been blasted open and it can't
Yeah,
close. And
it can't.
I want to do more. I want to know more. I want to live more. I want to feel more. Um,
I think
and
like I think like the number one thing though, like when people like it's hard to reach out when you're in that spot of like despair of like I can't do this. I was there, like there was so many times where I would just like do a bunch of drugs and like I would end up waking up in the morning and I would feel like upset. Like I was ready to go and I didn't want to do this anymore and I didn't want to live like this anymore, but like I woke up and I woke up for a reason. I see it now because like God spirit wasn't ready to let me go yet. Like I'm here to help other people as you are. Like we are here to help. It's that there's no judgment. If someone called me today and said, you know, and I didn't know these things, obviously, but like I've been doing drugs, I can't get out of it. Like it's not like I would be like, well, what are you doing that for? Like we're here as there's no judgment ever because anything that anybody could tell me won't shock me because I've either heard it from somebody else or I've done it.
exactly.
Like there's no
Yeah,
judgment
exactly.
ever on my end. And like I just want anybody who's ever gonna like listen to this that like pick up the phone when you are in those like pits of despair. Like please pick up the phone and try to call somebody for help because there's so many people around you that like love you and like want you here. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the hardest thing in the world to like bury somebody like your age. Like we're 30 years old. We shouldn't be I shouldn't have buried more people my
32.
I'm 30 forever.
Oh yeah, we're 30 forever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't like it's just like we shouldn't be burying our friends. Like I've buried more friends than my own mother, or my like aunt. It's not supposed to be like this. And there's
no,
something
it's
like mental health is huge too. Like people need to like not people, but like there should be more like help out there. You know what I mean? Like
mm-hmm.
ways to find help. Like I pay $150 for a therapist out of pocket. Not everybody has that. Like I think
Right.
like maybe like mental health clinics like need to be a bigger thing. There should be more out there helping people.
Well, I feel like the best and the most effective way, in my experience and also my perspective, is just like one person helping another, right? Just like soul to
Right,
soul, just help. One little word, one little call, one little message could change
right.
somebody in that moment. And so, just that's I know that's why I'm alive, and that's why I'm here, is to help other people feel better, live better, stay alive,
Right,
and realize stay alive until it gets better, because it does. And I
right.
can tell you from experience, I've lived in that fucking reality where you feel it's not going to get better.
It's never going to get better. Yeah,
There's no hope. There's no way you're making it out. In some way, all you have to do at those moments is stay alive. Just stay
exactly.
alive.
Just stay alive
It
and
will
pick
get
up the
better.
phone. Yeah. And like,
Mhm.
like that's what honestly what helped me. And I think what I needed, especially, was Alcoholics Anonymous and working with a sponsor and going through the 12 steps, because it did help me look at myself. When I got like a little bit of like couple weeks of clean time where my brain started to clear, I was blaming everybody else. I was blaming the whole world. I hated this person, that person. It was their fault, their fault. And it really wasn't. It was like my own like making of my own mistakes. And I had to like own that and own my part. And there was a lot of shit too that I was out of my
Mhm.
control, you know? But like you have to learn like how to own your part in things that happen and like fix those parts in yourself and
Mhm.
forgive and
Mhm.
like make amends where you were wrong, because we are wrong for some things, you know?
Absolutely, yeah. Everyone, I've learned what really changed me was the amends process of making these amends to other people. And I tell this to my sponsors, to everyone who will listen. That's what really changed me, was owning up to my part of things and realizing that I'm a willing participant to everything that happens in my life. Like there's a part that I play, and also just taking responsibility for those parts that I played, even if they hurt me as well. I also hurt them, right? Like
Right,
if you, when you look at yourself, when you actually take a look in the mirror and you ask yourself, where was I selfish? Where was I dishonest? Where was I, all the things we ask, right? You ask yourself these questions, and there's always an answer. There is a time where you were selfish. There was a time where you were dishonest. There was a time when all these things you played that part. And if you look at yourself, if for the first time and realize, well, if I was all these things, would I want to be forgiven too? And the answer is yes. Of course you want to be forgiven. So of course you got to forgive those people. We all make mistakes. We all have defects. We all fuck up, but we're all in this together. And that was a moment of taking my power back. I
right,
was no longer the victim of this life that I'm living. I'm no
right,
longer, for me, help me. I can't get out. I can't do anything. It's all me. And I chose to take my power back and really take responsibility for what I could control and change those things that I could control and let go of the rest.
right.
Just like the serenity prayer, you know?
Yeah. Amen,
Yeah.
sister.
Amen. Amen. All right. I think that's good. I think that's all. Is there anything else you wanted to say before we sign off?
I don't know. I got nothing.
Got nothing?
Maybe,
Nothing more?
yeah, spirit brought it all out of me, I think, already, girl.
It was good. I really appreciate you doing this, and I hope to do this again. It was fun. I love you
Yeah,
very much.
I love you too.
Anyone who's listening, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. If you want to see more videos like this, just like and subscribe. Maybe hit the bell. All right. See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.